my mom, Jean Simpson, March 12, 1925 to December 14, 2009. Written by Beverly Anderson, narration Margie Deckard. I am deeply honored to stand here on behalf of my family and to have this opportunity to declare my love and admiration for my mother. First, our family wants to make a few acknowledgments. We and Kim Nio, my mother's trusted allies for so many years, there was no project so big the three of you couldn't handle. From significant remodel projects to the most humbling of human tasks, you tackled them all with grace and love. Thank you. To Lavonda Hubbard and Legina Tolliver, your quiet competence and generous hearts brought peace and comfort to my mother's house and to all of us. Thank you. The love and support our family has received from all of you is inspirational. Your loving words shared with us on the Caring Bridge website were some of the last that Mom heard. We thank you for those. I would like to thank my sister Belinda and my brother-in-law Weldon, who have been on call for our family for the past 30 years. I hate to think about how many late-night calls you have fielded on behalf of our family, but you are always there, ready to help or drive or provide a meal. Thank you to my brother Jeff, truly Mom's confidant, and whose sweet sensibilities keep us grounded and sane. Your generosity of deed seems unending. I love you all very much. Mom was cut from a cloth that people like to associate with an era gone by. I think I might disagree. She was simply a very rare individual in any place or at any time. Words you used to describe her often include glamorous, elegant, beauty, grace, and one of our favorite, pluck. Indeed, these are accurate. She was the ultimate in being put together. I like to say Mom looks better going to Petty's than I do on a date, which was true. My friends visiting from London were impressed by Mom's high-heeled slippers. I thought everybody's mom wore these. I will never forget the sight of her at my niece Anne's wedding last March. She pulled out a Mary McFadden dress from her closet, and aside from the bride, she was by far the most beautiful, striking woman in the room. She was always a beautiful woman, but she just kept getting more and more lovely. She's the bomb. My mother had many passions. She was a skilled designer, and she loved color. In fact, she recently told my son Marvin that she loved all colors, that they each had potential to add something beautiful. She loved music. We grew up listening to Robert Goulet, Julie London, and of course, the chairman, Frankie. And she loved dancing. Some of my most vivid childhood memories are of Mom and dear friend Janie Henry doing the Charleston and the Cha-Cha-Cha in our living room. She had a passion for politics. She and I used to get into heated debates on this topic, but she always won. She was a tough opponent because she became an expert on every issue. She's the only person I know who used C-SPAN for background entertainment or watched it outright, and she never missed a vote. Her personal philosophy was family first. She believed that if we each worked hard and were responsible for the health and welfare of our family, that would take care of nearly all our needs. And on that score, she outdid herself. If you came across Mom's path and you had a need, she was there for you, with gourmet meals, things to brighten your room, and her stalwart friendship. She was tireless. She loved projects. She put all of herself into them. And if she didn't have one, she would find one. Many were the times that my sister, brother, or I would leave town on vacation only to come home to find our drawers cleaned out and our furniture rearranged. She worked under the doctrine of treat your friends like family and your family like friends. This was evident one Christmas many years ago when those Diane von Furstenberg wrap dresses were all the rage. I really wanted one, and she gave me one for Xmas. Only to find that she had given our housekeeper, Nelia, the exact same dress. Only, as Nelia pointed out to me, hers was a size smaller. There was absolutely no one ounce of self-pity in our mother. She endured far more than her fair share of physical ailments, and yet you would never know. Not only was she able to overcome these serious challenges, but what was even more remarkable was how quickly she did so. She never skipped a beat. She never let anybody down. Even this year, her house is decked out for Xmas, and she always made certain the fridge was full. She is the standard bearer here. If you believe that you should live your life according to what is said in your eulogy, Mom's life was a complete success. One of the last things she told me was, I had a great life. I think she would be pleased by what we are saying, but she would also be the first to say her accomplishments were no big deal or unremarkable. She spent so much time telling us how talented and smart we are that we never got to consider the source of that flattery. It was only a few years ago, when she was contemplating going to her 60th high school reunion, that I learned she was valedictorian of her class. Something, if I had accomplished, would be on my business cards today. My professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, had told me that they learned many things by working with my mother. And whenever Marvin, my 5-year-old son, does something particularly smart, I say, "How'd you know that?" Inevitably, he replies, "Nana taught me. She knows everything." She was a fiercely loyal person. She loved her doctors, her church, and God. She loved those who helped her first find her path to God. She loved her Strother, and I think how happy he might be right now to have her back with him. There are many of us here, Mom's sisters, Dode and Bevy, my sister and brother and me, my nieces, Anne and Amanda, my son Marvin, Mom's granddaughter, Katie, and all of the great-grandchildren who don't know what it's like to live in a world without Mom. Her broad safety net was always there to catch us. She was always there to hear our complaints, soothe our wounds, and answer our questions, both big and small. How do you baste a turkey, for instance? Her feast seemed infinitely abundant when it came to support and love of all kinds. We will have to go on, but she has set the foundation, not only with each of us, but to unite us together to figure things out. More than anything, I am sure that Mom wants us to be happy. It was less than 2 weeks ago that Mom and our dear friend, Dr. Miner, were having dinner and chatting together at her table. I was told the next day that she was entertaining and every light in the house was on. What a gal. One of the last things she said to me was, "Marvin is the light of my life." And I pledged to her that I would lead a happy life and ensure Marvin had one too. I leave you today with a quote. Love as powerful as your mother's for you leaves its own mark, not a scar. No visible sign to have been loved so deeply, even though the person is gone, will give us protection forever. It is in your very skin. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.